Thank you, Lakshmi, and good afternoon. And I'm so glad you did that exercise because this is the worst time to get the session. So I thought that Mr. Vinod, he and I were talking about doing the session, and I thought, okay, maybe he wanted to punish me by giving me the death hour after lunch. So I'm not trained in neurosciences. I've done consumer neuroscience as a part of Nielsen, and I know that when our stomachs are full, our blood flow is all around there. No one is going to have time to think, and everyone's going to feel sleepy. So I promise to try and keep it upbeat. Hopefully you learn something from what we found in packaging as a part of Nielsen IQ, and we'll make it an engaging 20 minutes. I'm trying really to stick to time as well. Before that, just a second. All right. So to introduce myself, I'm Sunila Benjamin. I'm based out of Bangalore. I'm a part of what we call as a consumer intelligence agency, which goes by the name of Nielsen IQ. Nielsen has been around for 100 years in the arena of market research and now consumer intelligence. In that, I'm a part of a segment or a business called Bases. So Bases does a lot of innovation testing and strategizing with brands. What do I mean by that? So brands like Unilever or P&G or whatever the brands may be, we work with them on all new product development as well as testing before launch into market. We do concept tests, we can do pricing research, forecasting, we can also do ad testing and pack testing. So we have more than 10 years of experience in pack research design and design testing, of which I am a part. I am a researcher for 20 plus years, of which 10 years have been spent both in consumer neuroscience, that is understanding the consumer from their brain perspective, and also doing a design research, which is pack research. So we're very happy to be here. With me in front is this lovely lady. Her name is Jayashree Agarwal. She's my colleague. She leads the commercial team here. She's the head of Bases India. And we both are here to represent our company. So yes, when we were listening into the various sessions today, it was very informative for us because we work with brands who use your raw materials, but we don't know a lot of that. We know more in terms of actual brand movements. Is it in boxes? Is it in pouches? The design and so on. So that part of it was very interesting for us. Today I'm going to cover how packaging design can achieve excellence. And broadly, this is the agenda. Is pack design even relevant today? You have advertising and you have very precision advertising thanks to digital. So in such a context, what does packaging design mean? So by pack design, just bear with me, what I mean is not the mono carton or corrugated cardboard, as I heard a lot about. I mean in terms of the pack form that the consumer sees when she goes to the supermarket, that kind of thing. So is there a role at all for such, why should we pay attention to pack design? What are some principles of effective packaging design? And I heard a lot about sustainable packaging. So we have a few insights for brands that are going down the sustainable packaging route, what is it that consumers expect and so on. So I'm going to go right into the power of packaging design. Is it even there? Is it even relevant? So packaging is a very interesting brand asset. And why I say that is that if you, as a marketeer, you can put out an ad into the marketplace and you will see that from amongst 100 or a million or thousands of people that you intend the ad to be there for, some will see it, some will miss it. If you put a promotion in the various supermarkets saying so many percentage off, if you buy 2 packs or more, etc., some will see the promotion, some won't see the promotion. But when it comes to packaging, 100% of those who are likely to buy your product will see the pack, right? Because you're standing in the supermarket or in the Kirana store and you're saying, I want a bar of soap. So if he brings out the Dove soap, whether you buy Dove soap or not, you're going to see it, correct? So 100% of likely buyers or shoppers are going to see your pack. So therefore the role of the pack and pack design is important. Secondly, on the right hand side, you can see here that we have seen in our work that if you have a well-designed pack, a beautiful pack which consumers can understand, then 70% more consumers are likely to see it. Because we look at a whole list of packs, when we go to a supermarket, we can't see all of it. We look at the more attractive ones. And 70% more are likely to see the better looking packs than the not so great packs. 2/3 of consumers, that is out of 100 people for example, almost 66% are saying, at some point in my life, I have bought a pack just for the pack design. I have bought a product just because it was in an attractive pack. So you can see that pack design has a role to play even now. Okay? And like I mentioned, Bases does forecasting. We're very good at it. So before a product gets launched into the marketer comes to us and says, here is the product I have in mind. This is the actual product. Now you test it and you tell us what is the likely volumes we can expect in the next 1 year, next 2 years, etc. And we've seen that if that product is in a well-designed package, the forecast estimates go up by 5.5%. You got it? So just by virtue of having an attractive pack, it attracts the consumers. It's the first moment of truth, and therefore it results in better forecasts as well. But having said that, see there is a flip side. So if you see on the other side of the chart, you'll see that 9 out of 10 packs that are redesigned and put in the market, they fail. So there's something going on. There are some principles to keep in mind when we design packaging, and that's what I'm going to speak about. Okay. So when we talk about principles of effective packaging, we have to remember the pack works in a very challenging and complex environment. So you'll say, what do you mean? It's not a war zone, so what's so complex about it? So I've done some neuroscience over these years, and I know that in the modern day, one of the most frightening or stressful environments for our brain as human beings is when you go into a supermarket. So think about it. You're walking into Food World or any of our Reliance supermarket, whatever it may be. You're met with these shelves and shelves of so many packs, right? So many bits of data is coming to our brain, and it is really stressful because your brain doesn't know what to look at and what not to look at. So that's what I mean by saying pack has to work in a very challenging and complex environment. So therefore, what should a pack do? One, a pack has to work very quickly. On an average, we've seen consumers take only 19 seconds to do the shopping. So you have to work quickly. Secondly, you need to work in a context, meaning you can't look at a pack alone and say, oh, this is a beautiful pack. You have to put it into a store, you have to put it into an e-commerce website and see if the pack does well there. And thirdly, the pack has different roles across the shopper journey, which is what I'm going to come to. Okay, so this is a shopper journey. So imagine yourself as shopping for toilet soap, body lotion, whatever it is your home or household needs or you need as a person. So this is a nice circle, and this is how we say that the shopper journey is. So you begin with initial approach, you go around the circle, and then you keep going around because anytime your soap runs out, you have to buy it again. Okay? So the first thing that we do is initial approach. So imagine yourself, you're going to the supermarket or you're going to a biggish store which has lot of products displayed. So at this time, what are you faced with? You're faced with hundreds of packs all at once. Okay, you're looking for soap, but there's cereal, there's so many things over there. So at this time, what the pack needs to do is, one, it needs to make sure it is seen, because if you're looking for soap, soap needs to be seen. Second, you need to like it, that is, it needs to drive engagement. And third, you need to recognize it. So a Dove has certain marks, logo, etc. on it, you need to recognize it. Then as you go closer to the shelf, okay, it has different responsibilities that it shows here. Here you will see not just Dove, you'll see other bars of soap, competition, etc. So here you need to convey your point of difference very quickly. What is different from Dove? versus what is different from Nivea and the other bars of soap. So many soaps now available. Third, I have decided I want Dove. I have now taken it in my hand. So here, I'm looking at Dove and I'm reading the pack. So the pack should tell me, yes, I have A, B, C, D benefits. This is what your skin needs, take me. That's the third one. And the fourth one is I take the Dove soap back home, and while I store it, the pack needs to keep reminding me that, see this product, you had such a good experience with it. When you need soap, go back into the supermarket and buy me. So most of my session will be around these four, the role of the pack, and how packs have, what role in each the pack needs to play, and how brands have utilized that very well. So take a look. Okay, so this, I'm sure, this is not from India, but I'm sure we've all seen a shelf like this. So many packs lined up. This is what I said is the most confusing part or the most stressful part for the brain, because the brain doesn't know where to look at. So you're approaching a store and you're met with these hundreds of shelves. So your brain, this is a non-conscious response. So by non-conscious, I mean that we're not actively saying, okay, now what pack should I look at? Should I look at 1, 2, 3? No, we do it non-consciously. And how do we decide what to look at? There are some visual cues, which I'll talk about, which the brain uses to say, oh, I will look at this, I will look at that, okay? But before that, traditionally, we thought we were very logical human beings. So what I mean by that, I need body lotion. I need it during winter, so that's the occasion. Then I'll say, I don't need such a big bottle, just for me, so one small bottle. Okay, that's how we thought we made decisions. What do I need? The occasion. What kind of pack size? What kind of brand? What kind of price? Now we don't look, when we go into a supermarket, that's not what we think of. Imagine you're walking in, there are so many things to look at. Your brain actively uses what we call visual cues. What are these visual cues? I hope you can see the screen. The visual cues are color. Now this you can use in not only in pack design, but in anything. This is the normal response of the brain across the world. All human beings respond to this. First we look at color, then we look at the size or the shape, then we look at pattern, and only then do we look at words and numbers. So if you are a brand owner and you're saying that, oh, I want to sell Coke, I'm first going to look at the shape of the, if it's attractive enough, I'm going to look at the color, which is red. I'm going to look at the shape, that distinctive shape of Coke bottle. Then I'm maybe going to look at the, the pattern on it, which is the logo, etc. Only then am I going to read the words. So that's the hierarchy. So therefore, if at this point, a pack wants to stand out from among the many hundreds as you're walking into the supermarket, you need to create the following. You can use any of these. I'll show you examples. You can use bold brand blocks. I'll tell you what that means. Intrusive graphics, or you can use repetitive images. So what do I mean by this? This is a shelf from France. It is a shelf for beer. Okay? So in this is the eye tracking that you see in front. Can you see? A consumer, when they look at the shelf, this is mainly where they're looking at. So you can see the more intense the gaze, more people have looked on it. That's what it means. Okay? The more red it is. Green means periphery. So let's see what they're looking at. There is this brand of beer called Lafay. You can see that? That's the one that's getting intense eye gaze. Why is that? It's using in the middle a shield shape. Can you see? Inverted shield. And inside that it's using that bright yellow color. Yellow always pops, meaning it stands out. So the first thing that we look at is any bold color like that, and that's why you're creating that brand block, because you see they're stacked next to each other. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is intrusive graphics or disruptive graphics, something that stands out as graphics. This is the quark beer. So it's a wheat beer. So they've used the heads of wheat to create a person there, as you will see. And this is what has helped get eye gaze. So remember, it's color, then there's shape. And Corona Extra, you'll see it uses that high contrast, right, of blue and white. That is what helps get attention. You can also do this interesting thing, which is to use shapes. So if you have a product which is stocked in a supermarket, you can, if it's a very distinctive product, the brain likes it, it'll pay attention to it. And you can see this razor, Schick, it's not available here, it's in America. So you can see that they just use the same shape across different SKUs and they lined it next to each other. It helps catch attention when you're that far away as you're entering the supermarket. Okay? So this is how packs can stand out in that initial approach as we are still far away and approaching the shelf. Okay. Now we are coming to a point where from approaching the shelf, I have found that I want to buy my detergent. I have found my detergent shelf. What I'm showing you is a body wash shelf, so let me talk about that. So when we come to the shelf of the category that we are interested in, again, all this is happening within 20 seconds. So we have to remember that. So here, what we as consumers do is we don't pick each pack, right? We don't look at Dove, Nivea, and we don't examine it like that. What do? We do a quick scan. Again, this is our brain's automatic response. So here too, because the consumer is not going to read that, oh, I give you I give you gentle skin, or I give you lovely fragrance. The consumer is not reading all that as yet. What she is doing is to scan to see what should I get, what is attracting me. So here what we have to do is use our unique and telegraphic pack elements, and I'll explain that term telegraphic in just a second. So we can use again color, shape or graphics. So what do I mean by telegraphic? So you will see here the Dove pack, can you see? It is tear shaped like that of a tear or a raindrop, and it has all rounded sides. So immediately you are just seeing the pack and that brand name and you're thinking gentle. Oh, it's sensitive. Immediately. That's what I mean by telegraphic. She has not read whatever you've written on the pack saying this is good for gentle skin, nothing. You're just seeing it, the shape is conveying gentle. Above it you can see Nivea in all bright colors, right? This means that the pack is conveying different fragrances, different types, different experiences. And so Nivea stands for that, for refreshing, etc. So this is what I mean by telegraphic. You're not saying anything, but you're conveying the meaning. So how do brands use this? You can take a look. They use color. So sometimes when you have, say, if it's a hand wash or anything, you can have a reasonable or a mass price version, and you can have a premium version. So we see that the variants which are more higher priced, they tend to use the darker color. So black, it's all hardwired in us as human beings actually. When we see a darker color of a pack, we think, oh, it is more premium, it's likely to be the more expensive one versus the cheaper one. So color is one. The other one is unique pack form, and you can see something familiar. This is an India example. Basis does something called the Design Impact Awards, and we do this across the world, where every few years we award those packs that have really distinctive and have done well in the marketplace. So this Kellogg's, was originally in a carton, as you saw, and they transformed into this pouch, okay? Because they wanted to convey 20% nuts, delight, etc. So you'll see here that the rest of the rest of the cereals, if you see, it's all in box form. So what they did was to use a very unique form of the pack, the pouch, and drive home the fact that one, I'm different. So again, telegraphic, right? I'm different and I contain more nuts. So that's how they did it with the unique pack form. Then you can use unique and engaging visuals. This is a very cute one. This is from South Africa. It's not from India. So it's in the category of pet foods. Okay, and in pet foods, they have something called treats, which is like a fun food for the pet. So you'll see the old pack on top. They have that light blue color, and they have that dog, which was like their mascot. Then they changed it. One, they made it darker. So the moment they make it more the royal blue, it gives a more premium cue. People think it's more expensive. Oh, this is a premium, it's a premium brand. So telegraphic. No one said premium, but it's premium. Secondly, they wanted to convey fun. So what did they do? They took these cute pet, pet images, And they just didn't stick it there. What do pets do when they're looking for a treat? They'll come up and they look at their master like that across the table, correct? They look like that. So that's what they were trying to capture. So what does this pack convey? Mine is a premium pack and it's a fun pack without actually putting those words. And that's how this brand transformed themselves. Okay, now I finished. So she's come to the shelf, she's looked at all the options, and now she's decided she wants to buy one. So the shopper has now taken the pack in her hand and she's making a final decision about that. This is the point at which she will read whatever you have put on the pack, saying, I offer more gentle skin, or I offer a refreshing experience, or hey, mine is a fun treat for your dog, whatever the case may be. So here, when she's holding the pack in your hand, she doesn't have a whole lot of time to figure out, understand, because if she doesn't understand, she'll put it, that's my time for saying 20 minutes are up, so I'll speak faster. Okay, so what she will do is to quickly look. If she understands it, she'll put it into her shopping cart. If she doesn't and you leave her confused, she'll put it away. So what we have to follow then to attract her attention is to make sure that we understand how the brain reads. So the brain reads usually from left to right. The brain can also read from top to bottom or bottom to top, clockwise or anti-clockwise. But if you arrange the elements of the pack such that the eyes have to go in different directions, that's when you get confused and you'll say, I don't know what this pack is, and you leave it behind. Okay, so that is one thing we have to remember here. Okay, this is an interesting one, so I'll cover it. So you'll see here that how do you guide eye gaze on packs? Okay, so we as human beings, we will automatically look at other human beings. And when we look at other human beings, we look at their eyes. Okay? So see the pack on the extreme right here. So you will look at the cat, not only at humans, you'll also look at living things. You look at the cat, then you look at the cat eyes. Where are the cat's eyes? The cat's eyes is going to the food. So then you look at the food. You got it? First I look at the cat, its eyes are looking at the food, I look at the food. And that's exactly what you want a person who's going to buy the product to look at. So this is one way to guide eye gaze. So I immediately understand, oh, this is what the food looks like. Look at this in the middle, the cartoon character. You look at the face because the brain understands and recognizes face immediately. And then it's looking up to Lucky Charms. So immediately you also look up and you'll say, oh, this is the Lucky Charms. Similarly, if you use babies, you're automatically attracted to babies and you'll explore the pack. Okay, I'm just going to finish this one and then I'll skip the next one. Okay, so Clorox did a good thing. So you see the old pack on the left? It has a brand name and it has a bunch of information at the bottom. So if you really want, if the pack was in your hand, you have to read line by line by line. See how they changed it. Okay, they made it into hierarchy. So first they took the most important, the brand name, Clorox. Underneath that, in a slightly smaller font, they said disinfecting wipes. And underneath that, they put the fragrance. So instead of reading so many things, you just feel like you're reading just 3 things. Okay. Now when you take the pack home, there also the pack plays a role. So if it's a food item or a snack, we know where do we keep it? In the kitchen area or the dining room area, depending on how our homes are arranged. And there, if you see this pack in the center, and we purposely took this example. This example is not from India, it's from China. So the words are in Chinese lettering. But we all know this pack is for Oreo. Because you can see the dark cookie, you can see the splash of milk and the blue color. So what does your brain say? Oreo. Similarly, the Listerine. Pause light is not in India, I know. Listerine, the distinctive shape, you're keeping it as a mouthwash when you keep it on your bathroom counter. And then again and again and again, the shape is reinforcing that you're using Listerine, you like the experience, the next time you want mouthwash, go back and buy it. So this is the role of the pack at home. So I'm not going to cover too much, just in the interest of time. This is just a reminder slide. Just to say that there are 4: initial approach, active shopping, finalized decision, as well as at home. And remember, the pack has different roles in each of these, but the pack is very important to the brand. I will cover this in just 2-3 minutes. Just some things for you to keep in mind, or for you, if you're working with brands that are getting into the sustainability area, to keep in mind what it means to the consumer. So, when we did some research, we realized that consumers are interested more and more in those companies. They're saying, yes, if a company has sustainable packaging, I will buy it. So we are seeing that trend increasing more and more. But secondly, consumers are saying, I expect the company that I buy from, the brand that I buy from, to adopt sustainable methods. Which means that, yes, I like Coke, I will drink it, but Coke is responsible for making sure that its packaging or whatever it does is sustainable. Got it? So the onus or the responsibility is given by the consumer to the brand itself. So if a brand is going down the path of sustainability, make sure that they tell their consumers. So you can keep this in mind. So for example, Kleenex had a sustainable pack. They made it compressed, okay? Similarly, Dove, they took that big pack and they compressed it. It's the same volume, but it's compressed. So rather than just do this and tell the consumer, oh, you figure it out that it's sustainable, they've put it on the pack, saying compact, less packaging material, in that green, got it? Similarly over here, compressed, which means lesser packaging material. And they have to talk about it. Similarly, if it's recyclable, put it so that the consumer sees that you are adopting these methods. And if you want the consumer to take certain steps to enable this recycling, then put it on the pack as well. So I'll just take one example from this. You can see here Coke. In some countries, they say, if you want us to recycle this, put the cap back. Otherwise, I can't recycle it. So where is the instruction? It's on the cap. So just, you're drinking it and you're about to throw the cap, but you'll see the instruction and you'll put it back on the bottle. Then you will throw it together. You would have seen Sif, not this pack, but a similar pack in our supermarkets. And what the instruction says on the neck of the bottle is, after you use this, don't throw it. It's a good spray. You can use it to water your plants, etc. actually. In fact, I do that. So it's there as an instruction. One last thing, what Kleenex and Dove did, they didn't say, oh, I am into sustainability, I use less packaging. They didn't stop there. They gave some other benefit. They told the shopper, if you buy me, my pack is compressed, you can keep me in a very small place. You don't need to, our tissue packs are big, right? You have to find a big shelf to keep it in if you want to store it. So this is much easier, it will just fit in. Dove said, you can put me in your gym bag, you can put me in your handbag. I'm small, I use lesser packaging, but there was an additional benefit. And when consumers hear about useful things like this, they tend to buy more of these products. Okay. Here, one example of keeping the consumer in mind. So remember Kellogg's launched this pouch case in India. And it worked because we know when you open a cereal box, there's so much cereal, if you eat cereal in your house, and then you have to look around for a clip. Some clips will work, some will make it, keep it open and then it gets soggy, then you don't feel like eating it. But in India, because of the resealable pack, it keeps it, dry and it keeps it away from pests, etc. So make sure that it is, when you are getting into the sustainability route, that it is useful to your consumer. What this brand did, which you see here, they changed their cap and made it less plastic on the cap to make it more sustainable. But what consumers found is that it was tending to leak, it was tending to bend, it was tending to, sort of break. And they said, we can't keep it in our bag, we're scared it'll spill. So before you make these big changes, make sure that it is usable. We help just putting it out there, that BASIS helps pack design testing across, whether you're, when a brand starts to think about whether they should do a pack change design, that's called an audit. How are we doing today? Then when they have a few designs, that's in the middle, that's called pack screening, and then we do validation, which is at the end, what's the best design to take forward. So that's Jayashree and me, and thanks for the time.